So, I was reading this interesting piece on dealing with our so-called mommy stuff and daddy stuff. It's really about the unresolved emotional baggage we all carry from childhood, you know?
Absolutely. It's like those early experiences with our parents kind of set the stage for how we see ourselves and how we relate to others later in life.
Right, exactly. And it's fascinating because regardless of whether you had a joyful or a challenging childhood, there are always these lingering emotions and patterns that stick
Mhm.
with you. It's almost as if our early interactions sketch a blueprint for our inner responses.
Yeah. And it's interesting because even if you think your childhood was great, you can still find subtle traces of self-doubt or the tendency to put others' needs before your own.
Absolutely. And that was one of the key contexts discussed. It's not about blaming, but about understanding that these habits, like maybe always avoiding conflict or feeling too guilty when you set a boundary, are really just residues of
Yeah,
our past. It's worthwhile to reflect on where they come from so we can gradually change them.
right. And I think that self-awareness is sort of the gateway for healing. When you start noticing these habits, you can ask yourself, why do I do this? And then um, work on gently shifting those behaviors.
Exactly. It's like realizing that if you consistently prioritize others over your own emotional needs, it might stem from a childhood environment where you felt, that your worth was only validated through achievements or
Hmm.
sacrifice. By simply being aware, you're already taking the first huge step toward growth.
And that's the beauty of it. The piece really stresses that these issues aren't about assigning blame to our parents. It's more about, say, reclaiming our power by understanding how those early influences impact us today.
Exactly. And it's kind of like the image of tending a garden. You start with soil that's been laid out by your early experiences, and with time and care, you can nurture the parts that help you flourish while weeding out the elements that hold you back. It's a process
Hmm.
of cultivating what truly nurtures you.
Yeah, that analogy really sticks. Though, if I may respectfully challenge a bit, don't you think sometimes that garden analogy oversimplifies things? I mean, our later experiences and interactions with peers also add layers of complexity to this inner landscape.
Oh, definitely, I agree. It's not just about the soil from childhood. There are plenty of other factors. But the core of the discussion here is about that initial imprint we get from our parents. It serves as a fundamental lens through which we view our relationships, even if it's later modified by other life
Yeah,
experiences. It's all interconnected.
true. And I guess once you recognize those imprints, the next step is about integrating mindfulness and self compassion. It's almost like retraining yourself to see the world and yourself in a new light, isn't it?
Exactly. It's a journey towards building self-worth and self-love. When you learn to gently confront those old patterns, like maybe the habit of conflict avoidance because you grew up around silence during disagreements, you start opening the door to healthier communication and relationships. It's both challenging
Hmm.
and incredibly rewarding.
And that's where inner child healing comes in, right? You reconnect with that younger version of yourself who might have felt unloved or overlooked, and you offer that missing compassion.
Yes, absolutely. It's like going back and acknowledging your own worth as a child, and then, bit by bit, infusing that recognition into your adult life. Every time you choose to be gentle with yourself instead of harshly judging your mistakes, you're essentially rewriting that narrative. It turns a
Yeah,
painful memory into a stepping stone for growth.
and it's so empowering when you think about it. Recognizing that these mommy and daddy issues aren't permanent life sentences, but rather, they're just parts of a journey you can work through. It's a reminder that healing is a process, not instantaneous, but definitely transformative.
Exactly. Healing isn't linear. It's a bit like riding a bike. You may stumble along the way, but with persistence, you build confidence and eventually gain momentum.
Mhm.
Every progress, no matter how small, is a victory.
Right. And the idea of self-forgiveness comes in strongly here too. It's not that you forget what happened, but you choose not to let those past influences limit your future.
Absolutely. Forgiveness is so essential. And it's about liberating yourself from the endless cycle of regret, where you constantly blame yourself for who you were forced to be. Instead, you consciously choose to build a healthier narrative rooted in self-compassion and, well, self-empowerment.
I really appreciate how it emphasizes that self-compassion isn't just about feeling warm and fuzzy. It's a critical component for establishing a solid sense of self-worth. Without it, it's so easy to get caught in those negative cycles.
Definitely true. And the process, although gradual, eventually helps you establish healthier relationships, not just with others, but, crucially, with yourself. It challenges the idea that you're defined solely by your emotional baggage and instead shows that you can transform it
Yeah,
into a source of strength. It's like turning adversity into fuel for personal growth.
and that's what makes this discussion so refreshing. It's not about wallowing in past wounds, but about actively engaging in a process of recovery and genuine joy. That perspective can change the way we look at our overall well-being.
Exactly. And there's also a subtle but key call to action to not let the baggage hold you back from living your best life. It nudges you to move forward, even if the journey feels, a bit slow sometimes. Every
hmm
small effort is a step in the right direction.
I like that a lot. This emphasis on continuous growth and self-care instead of waiting for some grand epiphany. It's the everyday acts of kindness toward ourselves that really make the difference.
Right. And think of it as a daily practice. Whether it's mindfulness meditation, gentle self-talk, or even setting realistic boundaries, these habits are like small seeds that, over time, blossom into a healthier, more
Yeah.
authentic living. It transforms your everyday relationship with yourself.
And what I find really relatable is the idea that it's never too late to start this journey. No matter what age you are, you can always decide to take care of your inner child, address those lingering habits, and, redefine what happiness means for you.
Absolutely. It's really liberating. You're not stuck with the limits of your past. You're allowed to grow and, rewrite your story bit by bit. It's a gradual reprogramming of your responses, opening paths to more genuine, fulfilling
hmm
interactions.
I love that perspective. It really demystifies the idea of perfect childhoods and perfect healing. It's messy, nonlinear, and yet so beautifully human.
Right on. And while the idea of digging through your past can feel daunting, the ultimate goal is to enhance your emotional well-being. And even if it takes time, each step is a reaffirmation of your self-worth and, ultimately, your happiness. It's like
Yeah.
investing in the best version of yourself.
You know, one of the most powerful takeaways for me is that healing isn't about erasing your childhood. It's about integrating all those experiences and, using them to empower you going forward.
Exactly. It's about transforming that emotional baggage into a foundation for a richer, more authentic life. You take those lessons and, let them inform a more resilient version of yourself rather than defining you. It's a shift
hmm
in perspective that truly makes a difference.
And I think the idea of integrating professional support, like therapy or support groups, alongside personal introspection, is such a healthy reminder. It's not a solo journey. You can lean on tools and people who guide you along the way.
Absolutely. There's no need to face this transformation on your own. Knowing when to reach out, when to seek professional insights, or simply to share your journey with someone who understands really enriches the process. It's all
Yeah.
part of building that supportive network for you.
And isn't it, kind of remarkable how acknowledging all this, instead of ignoring or denying these mommy and daddy issues, resets your inner dialogue? It gives you a license to feel your emotions fully and then, step by step, work through them.
Absolutely. It's all about reclaiming your narrative. When you understand the origin of a negative thought pattern and then gently challenge it with self-compassion, you're not defined by that past anymore. You're empowered by the transformation.
hmm
It's a liberating process.
I completely agree. And while it might take some time, every little bit of awareness and each step towards self-love adds up, leading to healthier relationships, not just with others, but more importantly, with yourself.
Yes, definitely. And this kind of inner work also promotes a more genuine understanding of what happiness truly is. It's not about having it all figured out or achieving perfection. It's about nurturing a state of well-being that comes from deep self-acceptance. That in turn inspires
Yeah,
every other aspect of living.
and that's the key, isn't it? It's not a destination, but a continuous journey. One where every day you rebuild and reinforce a healthier, more self-affirming perspective.
Exactly. It's a journey of self-discovery and self-empowerment. Every little reflection, every moment of mindfulness adds up. It shows that no matter what baggage you carried as a child, you have the power to redefine your future. It's a
Mm-hmm.
daily affirmation of your worth.
I really appreciate how this conversation not only highlights the struggles, but also celebrates the potential for growth and transformation. It makes the idea of facing our mommy stuff and daddy stuff feel like a courageous and ultimately rewarding process.
Absolutely. Embracing our past with all its imperfections allows us to step into a future defined by self-love, resilience, and genuine happiness. It's a reminder that healing isn't about perfection. It's about progress and, well, the courage to keep moving forward.
Yeah, this has been such an inspiring exchange. It gives me real food for thought on how to apply these concepts in my um own life and relationships. It's all about accepting where we come from to better shape who we are.
Exactly. Every step you take toward self-compassion and awareness redefines your personal narrative. And in doing so, you start to experience life, relationships, work, and personal joy in a much more fulfilling way.
Mhm. Thanks for exploring this topic in such depth. It's clear that while our past may leave its marks, it also provides us with the tools to grow into who we really aspire to be.
Absolutely. Keep embracing your journey, be gentle with yourself, and celebrate every little step forward. That's what makes all the difference in the long run.